And we are live. Good morning, Crypto Warriors, and welcome back to the Gentleman of Crypto episode. What episode is this? Oh my goodness, 1266. Today is Friday, December 13th. Oh my goodness, it's Friday the 13th. Oh, 2024. And I'm King, here to bridge the gap between community and crypto every day, Monday through Friday at 7 a.m.-ish. And today's top stories. Patient zero of Bitcoin gaslighting was digiconomist in 2018, ESG analyst says. Early Bitcoin investor jailed for unreported crypto gains and $4 million Bitcoin sale. Trump team 6 ways to slim or abolish banking regulators. Judge slams FDIC's lack of good faith in censoring crypto letters to banks. French Hill to chair House Financial Services Committee in 2025. Mark Cuban, if you can believe it, educates comedian Jon Stewart on crypto. Yes, that is a real headline. And last but not least, Ledger wallet user reports 10 Bitcoin lost, community blames phishing. But first and foremost, of course, let's go ahead and go over these prices and see what's happening in the world of Bitcoin and these cryptocurrency prices today. All right. Bitcoin is coming in looking beautiful right now at 100,900 and 101,000. That's why I was about to stall it out. I was like, hold on, you better bounce back for me. $101,032, down 0.71%. Ethereum 3955, down 0.79%. Ripple number 4, 245, $2.45. That is up 1.03%. Number 7, Dogecoin at 41 cents, down 1.46%. Number 9, ADA, Cardano at $1.12, down $2 or 2.12%. I don't know why I'm so hyper today. I didn't sleep last night. That's probably why. Tron 29 cents, down 3.27%. Fear and greed index is at a 78. Bitcoin dominance is at a 54.99, and Ethereum's at 13.07%, as people hope it can hit that 4K. I mean, listen, here's the deal. It's going to hit 4K. It might go to 4,100, and then boom, 3,800 overnight. Watch what I say. Listen, Ethereum don't got the same type of, I guess you could say tokenomics. It's not necessarily tokenomics. I would say the same type of market as Bitcoin right now. We got ETFs, ETF options, and futures, this, that, and other things. They're trying derivative Bitcoin until they can't derivative it anymore. Meanwhile, Ethereum, while it still has a lot of support, a lot of those supporters have flipped to Solana. They want to see Solana go. They want to see Solana go to 1,000, 2,000. They say, hey, what's better? We get Ethereum to 10K, we get a Solana to 4K. A lot of people are saying, let's just get Solana to the 4K. All right. So a lot of that Ethereum support is fading away slowly but surely to other projects. I mean, now you got SUI heads out there. I don't know what you call them, but the point is that I don't know. Ethereum may be in for a longer ride than people think. After it hits that 4K mark, we shall see. Other than that, let me give some quick shout outs and get this show on the road, because there's a lot of stories if you haven't noticed. What's going on, Saber Saves? What up, though? Patrick Walter, Humney, BK Crypto, Encario, Memories of Mike's, Discover Your Options, Hyben 17, 5150. What up, though? And Cario said most people use gaslighting wrong, like kids saying demure and nonchalant. You already know it. What it do, Warriors? Satoshi Slim, JB, Jamal, J. Good morning, everybody. D No ID. Let's go ahead and get this quick analysis started today. Oh, and really quick. I did this about a few days ago. It's been so much going on, I forgot to mention it. Plus, it's not showing up correctly. So you all let me know in the comments. It still probably isn't showing up right. I'm going to have to fix that at the show. But you all asked. I have finally made it live. Shirts and hoodies. The first batch is out. I got a few other designs. It's mostly going to be the Gentlemen of Crypto stuff and KRBE Digital Assets Group. I want to make sure we're deep with this gear before the next conference and we all pull out together. So again, the store should be already here, but if you don't see the store live, then I probably need to go back and do some back end stuff. So I'll figure it out if you don't see it right now. But new designs are out, new gear is out, Gentlemen of Crypto gear, KRBE Digital Assets Group gear, bucket hats, mugs, all good stuff. I will say this: I do have you are allowed to rate things once you buy them. Once that store is up and fully live, and you do start buying things, once you get it in the mail and everything, please rate it. Please rate it. This is coming from a third party, a Spread shirt. I'm wearing this one from Spread shirt. Of course, I have a hoodie, another shirt or whatever. Some of their products are trash. Now, I try my best not to put the trash products on there that I've already have bought and tried out or whatever. but there's so many different shirt options as far as like and hoodie options and stuff as far as like Bella Canvas, what they consider to be premium, what they consider to be their heavy duty, like what they consider to be regular. So many different options. I don't know all the ones that are good and bad. So again, I'm putting that rating up there. So once you all start ordering, if you come across some shirts or some hoodies or sweatshirts and you're like, yo, this is terrible quality, please give it that 1 star. If I see 2 or 3 1 stars, I'm pulling it off the store immediately. So again, that is for the gentleman, the crypto gear and all that stuff. You don't see the swag right now. All right, thanks, Jay. He said he doesn't see it now. After the show, I'll be working on that to make sure it shows up there. It'll show up by Monday. But again, the store has actually been active since like Monday. It just hasn't been showing up. So I got to figure that out. All right. Other than that, let's get back to the reason we're here. I know I'm waking up my neighbors. Good thing we got these thick walls. All this money we paying, it better be thick. Top story of the day. Listen, today's stories, I think that's why I'm actually so excited. Let me go ahead and preface this before I get started. I think I'm so excited because as I was gathering these stories today, I just started smiling more and more and more because I was like, finally, everyone who stood up against Bitcoin and the overall crypto market are getting slapped. And it looks like they're about to start getting slapped for the next 4 years, which is why I titled this Trump team versus the crypto haters, because not only does his administration already look like they're going to come in aggressive, but people who are already in play right now are starting to flip. They're like, oh, no, we ain't never agree with this. We don't like this. Like they're getting ready for the new administration to make the new guys and gals happy, it seems to me. But before we get into that, let's talk about this one. Someone who needs a cold molasses shower, if I've ever seen it. Patient zero, as they call it, of Bitcoin gaslighting was Digiconomist in 2018. ESG analyst says Bitcoin environmentalist Daniel Batten criticized the methods used by Digiconomist founder Alex DeVries to assess Bitcoin's environmental impact. Looks like Bitcoin environmentalist Daniel Batten said a single commentary in 2018 by Alex DeVries, founder of Digiconomist, was the origin of all junk science on Bitcoin's environmental impact. He quoted since then. Quote, we found patient zero, end quote. Batten said in a December 12th X thread. While Batten didn't point to the specific commentary, he has previously criticized a May 2018 report from Vries titled Bitcoin's Growing Energy Problem. Digiconomist is a platform dedicated to exposing the unintended consequences of digital trends. Batten said data from Litmaps found that energy-related news, reporting, and other academic commentaries on Bitcoin frequently referred back to Vries' metric, leading to Bitcoin gaslighting in the mainstream media. And this is something like I've said on this channel so many times about this whole environmental debate. Not only was it wrong, but it was actually based off of studies coming from China where they have a lot of coal mines, and the coal miners in the areas near the coal mines, they're using that to actually mine Bitcoin. And of course, that was bad from the environment. But people took that one isolated story and incident in this region and said, this is what's happening across the global market of Bitcoin. So this has been false, but the fact that it's actually being proven now is amazing. You can see this one origin story and all of these other stories and narratives coming from the one story, one person who was wrong. And that is my point, which I've said so many times, not only about this market, but about America as a whole. I'm telling you, 20 to 100 people on the high end. We get rid of them, this entire country, everything that we do would be different. This goes to show the same in this space. If this one article wasn't written about the environment, which was a lie, by the way, if one article wasn't written, we may have not spent years on the environmental slackening of Bitcoin being the problem. I mean, granted, they probably would have found something else, because when you're looking for something to be wrong, when you're looking for a reason, you'll find it, even if it's one not there. Like, I wanted 4. Well, I gave you 2 + 2. That's 4. Well, I wanted 1 + 1 + 1 + 1. Like, no, I don't like what you did. It's like they'll find a reason. So regardless if it was an environmental debate, they were going to find a reason. But it is crazy that this all came from one article. Again, they actually trace this lit map from the origins of this energy consumption FUD to this one guy. Again, much of the population was misinformed over the years, they say, and as a result, many investment committees, regulators, and policymakers still do not know that 13 of the last 15 papers support the environmental benefits of Bitcoin. They don't know it, but they also don't want to know. Again, this is the same thing as that movie Green Zone, when Matt Damon was trying to find the leader of whatever Middle Eastern sect, and he finally found him. And the guy was like, why are you looking for me? He was like, cuz I just need to get to you so I can talk to you and I can confirm that there's no weapons of mass destruction. I can go back and tell my government we can end this before we have to start the fight. And the guy was laughing, was like, you think with all the technology and money and resources the American government has, it really believes we have weapons of mass destruction when it knows we don't? Like, come on, buddy. This war is going to happen whether we had the weapons or not. This is just what they're using. And like Matt Damon instantly started realizing, like, oh, wow, this is what's happening. So that's the same thing with Bitcoin and crypto. Like, the banks don't want it. Wall Street don't want it. They rely in the pockets of all the regulators and politicians. So it doesn't matter if it's environmental or whatever else you put in front of it. The fix was already in. So Digiconomist runs a Bitcoin electronic waste monitor claiming that Bitcoin has produced, I mean, hilarious. Like, what else are you going to do this for Christmas lights? Has produced 40.97 kilotons of electric waste over the last 12 months, reaching 230.1 grams per transaction. However, batting the climate tech venture capitalist who has been focused on debunking Bitcoin FUD said the energy use per transaction metric is fundamentally flawed. Quote, Bitcoin energy does not come from its transactions. Therefore, it can scale transaction volume exponentially without increasing emissions. Oh my goodness. I'm trying to see. Wow, I didn't even realize that, because again, I told you all I do this live and reading out loud. They were talking about energy waste per transaction. They did do that wrong. Hilarious. So yeah, so the guy who even wrote the paper clearly doesn't even know what they're talking about. It goes into details saying about how this has been debunked, but still 96% of mainstream media outlets are no longer, okay, they're no longer gaslighting Bitcoin's environmental impact. And again, this is, to me, it goes back to the thing where it's like, all right, well, at what point was it, and is it market manipulation? Like, this is like, you can't charge people for pump and dumps. And I know some of you probably don't know about this, but once upon a time, I believe it was in the year 2017 and 2018, the government was actually giving out reward money to people who would turn in cryptocurrency pump and dump groups on Telegram. Who remembers that? Who's with me now? Who remembers them days? The government, United States government, was giving out money to whoever was snitch on Telegram crypto pump and dump groups. Like, just ridiculous. Okay. Like, just ridiculous. But you don't say anything to Elon Musk pumping Doge and dumping that or whatever. You don't say anything to the guy who does the environmentally like stuff. It's like, come on, this is market manipulation still. It's a different form of it. But if you get the overall general market, it's people who are watching it, people on the sideline, like they said, whether it's investors, regulators, policymakers, you get them all to believe some BS about the market. I'm looking at you, Jamie, the Dino Diamond, with Bitcoin is fraudulent. I'm also looking at Mark Cuban, which we'd be talking about. Bitcoin or bananas are worth more than Bitcoin. You have all this market manipulation. Then you have these same people coming back around to be the leaders of the market, right? To speak on it, to create policy is absolutely insane. Yes, the whole market is full of it, but that is America right now. You got to love it. Enjoy the fire and watch it burn. Eastside Tony, what up? Hey, Landon, I was trying not to do the joke. Why did you have to do it? Landon said, did somebody say grams? I literally saw the joke in the air and I just went over it. I said I was going to ignore it. I wasn't going to do it. But yes, someone said grams and I can eyeball me one. Now, Satoshi Slim, let's see. Yeah. I understand. He's not around no more, though. So we got to get some new takes. All right. What else we got going on besides the environmental debate that's been nonstop? Oh man! All right, I want to get this story because this was another whack story. I kind of talked about this already, so I won't go too in depth on the rant. But early Bitcoin investor has been jailed for unreported crypto gains and $4 million Bitcoin sale. Now, again, I will say, when you start dealing with the millies and you're still going through traditional centralized channels, and like, come on, you gotta give Uncle Sam a taste. You got to give Uncle Sam a taste. All right. And I want to be clear, like, and that's not even the taxation of it. I'm more or less looking at, yeah, it is a taxation of it, but really is also like, if you are dealing with millions in this space, you can actually get the protection they claim they're going to give to the retail market that they're actually not. They actually will give it to institutional investors. I want to be clear about that. Uncle Sam will protect the institutional investors. Now, the retail market, no, y'all on your own. But yeah, you can scrape up a couple 100,000, some millions, some properties here or there. Uncle Sam actually does have your best interest because Uncle Sam's looking at you as a play, right? As a lick. You're going to keep giving me money. I'm going to make sure you're okay. So my thing is, yeah, when you do get to this point, you're probably not going to get off the radar with millions of dollars or a bunch of Bitcoin and selling it on mainstream channels or whatever. So This guy, a Texas Bitcoin investor, faces 2 years in prison for failing to report over $4 million in cryptocurrency gains, setting a legal precedent. How many times have I said this? Setting a legal precedent. Almost every case that happens in crypto right now will be setting legal precedents, which is why I keep saying we do not need formal regulation right now. Because if we have it every time a court case rolls around, they're like, oh, well, this is how the whole nation and world thereafter will be operating because one judge felt a certain way. So an early Bitcoin investor from Austin, Texas, became the first person criminally charged for failing to report crypto capital gains in a case involving about $4 million worth of cryptocurrencies. According to the U.S. Department of Justice, Texas-based Bitcoin investor. And again, I also want to point out too, like how whack paying for crypto is. I know I just said the whole tax thing and you're paying the millions. I'm only really saying that because it's just like, what are you going to do? Are you going to fight the government, or are you going to go to China and Russia? And the answers are no to that. And you're not a part of the gang, i.e., you ain't never been a military, police, politician, regulator. You're not part of the gang. You're just out here willy-nilly in this thing. You might as well pay them because they definitely coming. It's a little bit different if you're a part of the gang. You probably know the right people to call, whatever. Like for me, for example, I will happily and gladly make a donation to the military, to different units, to Navy SEALs, things of that sort. So if I start getting pressure, I'm gonna make that call, I'm gonna make that donation, be like, hey, y'all need to talk to each other and figure this out. I'm doing my part for America, right? But it's that whole thing where you're not doing nothing. But to be fair, I want to say I do disagree with the taxation of any type of crypto in general, because again, the early years, even when this guy was going at it, there were no protections. Even now, there's still really no protections in this space. So for it to be no protections and no safeguards, and just nothing but taking and taking and taking and more taxation, it is kind of ridiculous. Not to mention, you know, when a lot of these people are getting hit, because I'm sure this is one of those retroactive ones, all these retroactive people, not only was there no guidance, but again, you literally had market makers like Jamie Dimon of Chase Bank saying Bitcoin is fraudulent, and the US government going along with it. What was it? Elizabeth Warren or Pelosi saying that crypto is only for shadowy government or shadowy secret coders, whatever. She basically was like, it's only for criminals. So for one moment, you say, a few years, you say this is only for criminals, it's fraudulent, this is fake, it'll never replace the American dollar, never replace gold, blah, blah, blah. And then 4 to 5 years later, you say, oh, well, these people made money on that. Let's sue them and put them in jail. Like, that's so treacherous. That is so treacherous and treasonous, honestly. Honestly, if I was this guy, I would say I'm a political prisoner. I would go in as a political prisoner. I would make sure that it's clear no, this is no regular crime. I'm not a regular prisoner. I am a political prisoner at this point. Again, going back to this U.S. Department of Justice, Texas-based Bitcoin investor Frank Richard Algren III falsely underreported the realized capital gains earned from selling Bitcoin worth $3.7 million from 2017 and 2019. Okay, I thought it might be like in 2016 or something. So, but still, super gray at the time. The Department of Justice said in a December 12th report. And again, even to today, is Bitcoin and crypto capital gains? Is that what we're doing on it? Is it a commodity? Is it a capital gain? Like last time I checked, the SEC, the Futures Association, FA, as well as the CFTC, were still trying to argue about what it was and who got the power to represent it and actually tax it. So the fact that these agencies are still arguing, but they're like, no, but it's still capital gains tax. Like, come on, you're going to do your own citizens like this. This is madness. And again, I want to point something out as well. I'm going to get real political with y'all since we're here already. These are the same people who are trying to convince you we don't need guns. This is why we need automatic weapons with extendos on the mofos. All right. Yes, it is to hunt other people, specifically people in the government, if they decide to wake up one day and say, hey, all that money you're making from the stuff we don't believe in, we want half. That is why you have it. All right. But hey, you keep beating yourself. We don't need the Second Amendment. Give away all your automatic weapons and no guns and school shootings. I get it. But don't be surprised when they say, hey, we want all your crypto, half your cash, and 3 kisses from your wife next. All right. What you gonna do then? you gonna protest them away? No, you're gonna have to get the blaming people. They are out for your capital. All taxpayers are required to report any sale proceeds and gains or losses from the sale of cryptocurrencies, such as Bitcoin, on a tax return I mean, when did we learn this? Was there a school that taught this? Was there a class? You literally just woke up with a new technology, and the next day they was like, "Hey, we expect you to read the Department of Justice website and know all the laws of this land." Algren has invested in Bitcoin since 2011. Oh, he was an early person. Whew. He purchased 1,366 Bitcoin on the crypto exchange Coinbase in 2015. When Bitcoin was trading under $500, he sold about 640 in October of 2017 at an average market price of $5,807 and reinvested the 3.7 million in real estate. And really quick, this also highlights something I just told you all the other day when everybody's like, "How much do you have? Or are you stupid rich?" And then I'm like, "Man, I've been around since 2016 living on this." Like I said, I've had so many events in this space, and clearly this type of person, like, yeah, to go from sub 500 to $6,000 to sub 6,000, that is a huge win. Like, and I get it. Some people are looking at this like, "Oh my God, like, man, if you would have saved all those Bitcoin right now, you have millions and billions of dollars." Yes, so you say, or maybe the government would have already turned them upside down and inside out by now, because clearly they're trying to do that with all the whales who aren't involved in the institution. So again, this is the best point I can make when people are like, "Well, why isn't this and that?" I'm like, yo, this market didn't, like, 100K is beautiful, but it's not everyone's high, right? Like, some people bought Bitcoin at $1. So when it hit $1,000, that was the $100,000 already for them. But this to me really highlights that. Authorities found discrepancies in Algren's 2017 federal income tax return. The report noted Algren then filed a false 2017 federal income tax return that substantially inflated the cost basis of the Bitcoins, thereby underreporting his true capital gain from his sale of Bitcoins. And see, I almost wonder, when they say he inflated it, I wonder if when he filed it, he probably put it was at 19,600, whatever, and he took a loss or something like that, somewhere around there. If he sold it for 5,800 and went up to 1920K, you actually did take an economic loss. At least that's the way the banks do it. Let's be clear. The banks will do, "Oh, well, we didn't, even though we weren't due this money, we didn't get this money we could have had." That's a loss. That is a loss on the balance sheets. We're going to take this to the government and get some more taxpayer money to pay this off. Like, so again, it is crazy. You have corporations and banks and everyone else doing this type of play, but when you have individuals doing it, not only do they get into some stuff, but then they actually send them to jail. Never mind all the FTX people who defrauded $50 billion from the market. Let's go after the guy who, during the years, we didn't have any real regulatory environment, which we still don't. We're in the gray. Let's go after that guy who said, "Hey, I'm just going to take my money and put it back into real estate." He literally put it back into the American market. This would be a totally different story if it would have been like, yeah, he moved out the country, Roger Ver, right? And then went to go buy a bunch of property in a country or nation that the U.S. doesn't benefit from. I get it, gang. Let's go after him. But he sold it and put the money back into the American market. Goodness gracious, what more do you want from me? My Tyrese voice. This is crazy. Let me finish this story, because I'm gonna mess around, be 2 hours on the show today looking at this madness. Additionally, Algren did not report more than $650,000 worth of Bitcoin sales in 2018 and 2019, according to the Department of Justice. This got Coinbase shit right here. To keep it real, this is all he was on Coinbase. You can't be on Coinbase playing like this. According to the Department of Justice, he attempted to conceal the movement of his funds through multiple wallet transfers, crypto mixers, and in-person cash transactions, the Department of Justice added. Indeed, in May 2014, Algren had blogged about his knowledge of mixers as ways to add anonymity to Bitcoin transactions. In total, the tax loss from Algren's criminal conduct was over $1 million. Wow, we're really going to say that? The tax loss over his criminal conduct. Man, like, stories like this really, like, and I hate to even say this because I don't want people to be harmed or in violent situations, but I'll say it. Stories like this is what make, I know a fair way to say it. I don't have to put myself involved, because I read about other people recently. Stories like this are what make people side with the shooter of the United Healthcare thing. These are the stories that make people side with the shooter. I'm reading about this guy's getting thousands of donations from thousands of people. So who knows how much money and donations the shooter actually got, the Luigi. He has a mural of him in different countries with the United Healthcare badge crossed out in the Luigi from Mario. Like, people are turning this guy into a martyr right now, even though he's alive, but like a folklore hero, all because he killed the CEO of a healthcare company. Like, this is the reason why that energy is in the air, because we have our own government trying to criminalize our own citizens. And to be fair, it's not even our own like government. It's really like 10 or 15 people who aren't American who have pull over our government. And then we got a bunch of puppets in government who don't have their own. They will never let their own hang, if you know what I'm talking about. So all they do is listen and follow and be sheep. So that's just how this thing keeps going and going and going. But literally, it's stories like this to why people are, sympathetic to shooters who are going after people. Because I'll tell you what, if I were to read a story where Department of Justice and IRS and something very bad happened to a lot of people that are working there, I wouldn't feel sympathy, because I'm like, look what you're doing to regular Americans who are just trying to make it work. All right, I'm done, Rand. I'm done. I had to say it. This pisses me off. Acting Deputy Assistant Attorney General Stuart Goldberg of the Justice Department's Tax Division noted that Al Green's decision to underreport crypto capital gains and attempt to conceal the transfer of funds earned him a 2-year sentence. Wow. So he gets the same time as Caroline Ellison. In fact, is she even getting time? Yeah, I think she might be getting 2. I can't remember. But he's literally getting the same time as executives on the FTX. Actually, he's getting more time than some of the executives. So some of them got like 18-month parole and house arrest. He's getting the same amount of prison time as people who did $50 billion of damage to the market. That is why, like, what I've been saying it for the longest now, I've actually been writing about it. I need to release it. But you just, like, as humans, as organizations, we just need to become too big to fail. Like, you'll go to prison for killing 1 to 3 to 5, 10 people. You will not go to prison for killing thousands or hundreds of thousands of people. That's not the way that works, people. It's too big to fail. This is absolutely insane. The same government that just let half of FTX C-suite walk are now arresting individuals because they criminally underreported $1 million in taxes. We really need that $1 million from the guy in the market that we don't even believe in. We thought that was going to fail. I mean, and that's what's even crazier. That's why they weren't going after these people then. It's because they thought this shit was going to be over with by now. They thought Bitcoin would have been dead by now, right? But since it's still alive and now it's 100K, it's 90K, we need to retroactively get some of that money back. United States government, we are really outdoing ourselves for our own citizens right now. This is embarrassing. 2 years in prison and a $1.1 million fine. Wow. Just wow. FTX is all I have to say when I see stories like this. I don't know. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Let me look at the comments. Am I tripping? Am I going too crazy? Whistletone said the same day the CEO was killed, came new insurance deciding how much anesthesia a person can have in surgery. Oh yeah, I've heard about a ton of stuff with that. Like a lot of, in the background of the whole healthcare stuff. I saw one guy just talking about it the other day, he just sounded so fake. It was like another healthcare CEO. And he's like, no, we get it. We need to, healthcare is very important for every human out there. And it's like, bro, he over here, he sounded like he was BSing. What do you do when your gains, whatever coin gets you $5 million? Don't touch it and seek a tax advisor. I mean, either don't touch it and get a tax advisor, move, right? Renounce your citizenship like Roger Ver did, or keep it all in crypto, right? If you have that much money, if you have that much capital, it's kind of on your fault too, to where you're not doing the Bitcoin gospel. And that's this. If you made $4 million off Bitcoin and you're going right back to the cash market, you deserve what you get. Like, keep it in Bitcoin, talk to the real estate agents, talk to everybody and be like, no, I'm not selling my Bitcoin. I'll swap it. I'll give you some Bitcoin for this asset. Like, there's ways to do it like that. And then last but not least, pay the man. Pay the man. You got to pay to play, right? Sometimes you do have to pay to play. And that's what it is right now. Pay the man some and spend some on lobbyists. Like, this is what people aren't doing when they're getting their capital. Put money on lobbyists so we don't have to deal with this. Put money on politicians, on regulators, right? Like, these are some of the ways around it. But yeah, it's really either you pay or you get up out of here. That fool crashed out. That's why I like Mario. Violence is as American as cherry pie. Hey, listen, violence is super American. I'll tell people that too. Violence is as American as it gets. Okay. What else are we going? Bitcoin conference coming up. Playing the unrealized gains like they were real. I know, that's crazy, right? Meanwhile, Nancy Pelosi got a $200 million net worth from insider trading. I know, it's crazy. Yep. Chloe Dior said ignorance of the law, right? They always say ignorance of the law is like, that won't get you out of committing a crime or whatever. I get it. But listen, here's the thing. It works like that because people keep keep going one at a time. Everybody got to do it. All right. Satoshi Slim said, "You wow," and they're going to delete this video too. LOL. Listen, that's why I always say, hey, my tribe will always be Detroit. Shout out to Michigan. I love it. Detroit, East Side, because look, we still ain't moved up to the future. Everybody's still sticks and stones, old school. There are repercussions, including politicians. Like I keep telling you, did y'all not see the militia try to kidnap the governor during COVID? They not playing in Michigan, okay? We kind of like a little small Texas up there, all right? We do not play this craziness in Michigan. We don't. We just don't do it, all right? What else we have going on? All right, now to the Trump team. Trump team is in the news. Oh man, I've never been so happy to hear about the Trump team. I got to tell you, folks, they're making me pick sides now. They're officially making me pick sides because Trump and his team is scaring all these crypto naysayers away. And again, I'm not here for a certain politician. I'm here for policy and things that's going to help me as an individual. Trump team seeks ways to slim or abolish banking regulators, says the Wall Street Journal. Trump's team is asking whether he can eliminate financial industry regulators or combine them, according to Wall Street Journal report. You sure can, President. Get rid of them, combine them, do what you need to do. But you see, listen, and this is what I meant about, I think he's really going to be for Bitcoin. Like the banks, the media, the politicians, the regulators, literally it was everyone versus Trump on the mainstream, okay? And he won. Now, for one, I just want to point something out. If you're one of those people against him, you got to slap yourself a little bit. Y'all took an L, man. How y'all put all these resources against one human and they still win? To me, it's hilarious. But on a serious note, I know some people are angry about it. Whatever, people. Has the world changed? The world's not going to change. It's going to be the same. But regardless, what I'm liking and what I'm seeing is that he, like I said the other day, why he actually might be pro Bitcoin for real, is because since all those people went against him and they tried to get his tax returns and stop his banking and do everything else to stop the flow of his money, he's going to do everything he can to make sure his money stays private. And that means getting rid of some of these banks, making sure they're weaker by the time he leaves, increasing the power of Bitcoin and even other cryptos, I think. And by the way, based on the last story, I meant to actually mention, let me go back to this last story real quick about All Green and him and his taxes and how the government went after him. People, we're not going to see that the next 4 years, I think. I'm telling you, we didn't see it the first time he was in office, which is why they're coming back retroactively. I think when Trump, don't forget, the government was trying to get him to open up his tax returns from years ago, and he did not do it. He didn't want to do it. So you think he's going to go in office and say, hey, I still don't want y'all digging and prodding into my tax returns. And since I don't want y'all to do that, I'm going to dig and prod into every American tax return? No, I think he's going to come here and be like, hey, I don't want y'all digging and prodding into what I'm doing, and I'm not going to dig and prod into what you all are doing. So here's a good thing about that. Like I said, I think we're about to get another 4 years of the Wild West where we can go crazy. The bad thing about that is you better have your affairs in order, because soon as he leaves, what we just saw, we're going to see again. The next administration is going to come in and be like, all right, the year is 2024 to 2028. Who has some big Bitcoin transactions and didn't tell the government? I think the next administration will come in, and that's how they kind of play the same game. So it seems like, oh, Trump loves Bitcoin. Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying he kind of does, but he's going to set it up so the next administration, but hey, now y'all can come in and get all the money back, but just don't say I did it. Regardless, though, I don't think the pressure is going to be there like we're seeing right now. But back to this Trump team. Trying to get rid of this financial industry's regulators for the banks. I am all for it. Whew. I mean, I really hope he does this. Not get rid of them, at least get rid of the little fee you get for not having money in your account. It's crazy. You're charging people $35 not to have money when they don't have money. That's insane. Per transaction, it's crazy talk. And for those who are out there listening to, if you ever got hit with one of those overdraft fees from your bank, you can actually get that reversed. Like, don't let them fool you. I remember when I was younger, that happened, young, going through and all that good stuff. Or even like whenever you go through it, all you have to do is call them up. Hey, I've been a customer with you for a long time. Do you want to lose me as a customer over this little $35, $70 couple of fees? No, waive the fees. I'm going to put some money in the account in a couple of days. Stop playing with me. All right. Like, you can call them and they can actually do it. Your talk game got to be on point, but they can do it. Don't let them fool you, folks. All right. Let's see. Advisors to President-elect from the Elon Musk-led Department of Government Efficiency, Doge, have it's crazy. Have asked in interviews with potential. Hey, we might as well get the popping stuff. You got a South African hijacking our government. Let's get to it. Have asked in interviews with potential bank regulators if a president could, for example, abolish the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, FDIC. People familiar with the matter told the Wall Street Journal in the December 12th report. Where did I get February from? Trump advisors have also queried potential appointees to the FDIC and the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency if bank deposit insurance could be folded into the Treasury. Plans to combine or overhaul the FDIC, OCC, and the Federal Reserve. Oh, the Federal Reserve. Oh, my goodness. Have also been floated. I'm calling it now. I'm calling this one now. And the only reason I'm calling it now is because people are already close. And now you're messing with the boss of bosses. Oh, man. Like, I know some of you would be happy when I'm about to say, I don't want to see this for any president in general. Whether, like, here's the thing. If we're going to like really talk about a president dying, which people are wishing for, I saw people wishing for Biden and Trump to die, which is like, people like, respect the position. Okay. Respect the position. You don't got to like the person like this. You learn this in the military. It don't matter what their name is. If they're a lieutenant, they're a captain, they're admiral, they're a general, they're overranking you. And you're not about to die, especially. It is what it is. All right. Now, don't get it wrong. Y'all know I done spoke up before. I done spoke up a couple times before. And I got away with it because I was really good at my job. But there was almost a chance I didn't get away with it. You can't say nothing if you don't get away with it because it will get worse for you. But the point is to respect the position. So I say all that to say, while I would not want to see a president who especially isn't killing or harming Americans get hurt, he may be setting himself up for a real assassination now. You're talking about folding the Federal Reserve, my boy. Isn't that what JFK was trying to do? Get us on the gold standard and all this other stuff? Hey, I'm with it. Trump, I'm with it, my man. But I'm just saying this could be the fight you don't want to pick. I don't know. They deep too, man. They pretty deep. But that's a tough one. He said fold the Federal Reserve into it too. Ooh, that's a lot of money you taking from some people, boy. It's a lot of money. Again, I understand why. But they might listen. They might slump you on that one. I don't think the Federal Reserve been around since it's been around for a reason. Hey, I already know what happened behind the scenes. As soon as he started winning, everybody saw he was winning, or the day after he won or whatever, he started getting them calls. Federal Reserve, oh yeah, you know that thing we did to you a couple years ago, man. It wasn't personal. You know, we had Pelosi and Elizabeth Warren. Trump's like, yeah, oh, no, all good. Hey, what Kendrick say? I don't want to peace up. Trump don't want to peace up, man. That's the way it's looking right here. All right, let's get back into it. Let's see. The Republican majority Congress would decide whether the FDIC or any other agency is to be eliminated, a complex and rare undertaking. Now, even though this is a Republican majority Congress, it still might not go that way because, again, even though the powerful president is there, Trump, he has his whole team, his family and stuff like that. Like I said, a lot of these people in positions are sheep. They're scared little sheep, and whoever can get to them first, they'll fold. In fact, I want to say first, whoever's in them at the moment, they'll fold. And with that being said, I do think the Federal Reserve has been around a little bit longer than Trump and his team and his peoples. And I think they might be able to get to a lot of those Republican congressional folks even more than he can, because I'm telling you, he'll be here for 4 years. Federal Reserve going to hit them with, hey, we've been here for hundreds of years. We're going to be here for hundreds of years. What side are you on for real, for real? So it'll get interesting. It'll definitely get interesting. But yeah, he's going out there a big one on that. All right. Also with that, like I said, I think it's going to be rolling downhill, judges, politicians, everybody, because this is them essentially waving the flag to say, hey, we are Team Trump. And I think this judge is essentially doing that as well. Judge slams FDIC's lack of good faith in censoring crypto letters to banks. Again, I want to be clear. They're doing this now to get on the incoming president's good side. Don't be fooled, folks, because why weren't you slamming them when they were doing this? Why are you suddenly slamming them, right? Like, yeah, whatever. I get it. This is how it goes. This is how it is. A U.S. federal judge has ordered the FDIC to redo and resubmit redactions it made to crypto pause letters it sent to financial institutions. Why? Let's just call it like this is the prison time right here. This is treason. This is market manipulation. This is an abuse of power. Like, this is everything. We don't need to redo it. It's out there. In fact, if you really want to do this the right way, subpoena. I want some court subpoenas. I want bank CEOs, community matters leaderships of banks, as well as the leadership of the FDIC in front of a congressional Senate hearing. And I want them in front of everyone to keep that lie going if that's what they're going to do. I want to see if they're going to lie in front of everyone. And I don't want to do this whole, well, I plead the fifth, I can't answer. No. You've been getting taxpayer money, boy. You're going to answer these questions. We ain't doing this Gary Gensler thing. I don't know if Ethereum's a security. I'm not going to answer that question. You're the highest man in the land for this answer. You're going to answer the question or go to jail. Like, it's not even a firing thing at this point. They should be going to jail for the type of market manipulation the FDIC did. I mean, it was insane. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, essentially the FDIC a few years ago, sent letters to banks saying, hey, don't mess with them crypto companies. If you already messing with them, you better stop messing with them. A U.S. federal judge criticized the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation for its redactions of crypto pause letters sent to banks amid a Coinbase-backed Freedom of Information Act lawsuit. Look, this is how it works. Now, Coinbase got the money and they're mad and they want the public on their side, so they're doing it. The judge sees the incoming administration. All right, this is good for me. He's doing, like, now everybody's doing it. End of 2020, I said this years ago, $100,000. Now everybody wants to be on Bitcoin's friends list. This is amazing. Let's see. The court is concerned with what happens to be FDIC's lack of good faith effort in making nuanced redactions. Washington, D.C. District Court Judge Anna Reyes wrote in December 12 text order, defendant cannot simply blanket redact everything that is not an article or preposition. Again, the SEC did the exact same thing, and it was not in good faith for years. You know, the whole ETFs, they didn't do those in good faith, but the only reason why people didn't come after them is because they finally did it for the right companies, right? You did, all right, fine, we'll give it to BlackRock, we'll give it to all the whatever. But they actually, the SEC should have been going after by all of these companies as a whole as well. But everybody's want what's the best for them in this market. Judge Reyes ordered the FDIC to make more thoughtful redactions and refile letters by January 3rd, adding the FDIC should be prepared to defend each new redaction. The so-called pause letters, which in some cases have entire pages censored, show that the FDIC asked 23 financial institutions about their crypto-related activities. Funny enough, as I'm going through everything on the back end and cleaning things up, I was going through old emails, and I found the email from Intuit QuickBooks back in 2016 and 2017 from where they dropped me as a client for no reason. Literally, there was just boom. We can't book. I mean, just interrupted the mess out of my business. I finally called through, got to some people, and got an informal off the record answer, which was, hey, we're backed by Chase. You're doing Bitcoin and crypto. They do not play with that. It's over. And at the time, the name was, I think, I had the name on the business. Maybe it might have been Jim in the crypto on the business or KRBE Digital Assets Group. And my whole thing to them was, you all only knew that because of the title of my name or whatever. So I was like, so if I change the name and still do business, how would you even know? And they were just like, they didn't want to talk about it. It's like, we can't have you as a client anymore. So they dropped me as a client. Then about 3 years later, they started hitting me up trying to get me back as a client. Can you believe it? I was like, are you freaking crazy? Like, to this day, they're still trying to get me back as a client. I'm like, never would I ever be a client of yours. Are you crazy? So this is like, the flipping has happened across the market. We're seeing that from different companies and projects everywhere. But again, this is ridiculous. Like, how is this American? This isn't it'd be one thing if this is a military operation, right? This is where Osama bin Laden whereabouts are at. All right, whatever. We can't share that with the American public. Or tactics, right? This is how we found Osama bin Laden or whoever else we're after. This is how we actually infiltrated it. This is how we got out this is the new technology we use so the radar wouldn't catch. Like, I get it. That's different, right? Yeah, every American doesn't need to know that. But you're talking about a letter to banks? What? Look at this, is a letter to banks. Consumer protection. Why is consumer protection blacked out? And this is the government that we're supposed to blindly trust. These are the people who are all, I mean, no, it's not you all who listen, but so many sheep who are in the social media comments like, government, no, they can never do nothing wrong. Everything's always good on or up and everything's right and trustworthiness. And then they have redacted paperwork to a bank from the FDIC. Why would you do this unless you're doing something dirty? Can you imagine? There's pages and pages of this. This is as grimy as it gets. And this is what I mean by why I finally said, like, I'm done. Hey, y'all got me, America. I'm done, people. I cannot fight this good fight anymore. It's too crazy. The market spoke, the government spoke, everybody spoke. All right. They want meme coin mania. We want derivatives and we want BS. We do not want this thing to be real and grounded. So it is what it is. But this is absolutely crazy to have this much redacted. What is the FDIC working so hard to hide? Coinbase legal chief Paul Grewal wrote in December 12th X post in response to Judge Ray's orders. Hey, and again, two fingers to Coinbase as well, because now they're doing this because they got toyed with so much and they're just trying to get more customers. But Coinbase is a big part of how the government felt so confident and comfortable to do this. Coinbase at the time is still probably one of the biggest crypto companies in America. And for years now, they've sided with regulators. They've sided with the legacy way of doing things, traditional way of doing things, and not a Bitcoin and cryptocurrency enthusiast and the ethos of Bitcoin's decentralization and everything else. They decided to go the traditional route, even so much they went public. For those who don't know, when they went public, all that customer data, that went straight to the government, which is how they were able to arrest people like whatever Grant or whatever. They just go through all the due diligence now. So Coinbase has not been for the crypto user enthusiasts out there. They've been for themselves to line their pockets. And now all of a sudden, that they started getting slapped a couple years ago, that lending program, and the government said, no, we never said you all can do a lending program. We didn't say you all were regulated. That's when they decided to fight. So the Coinbase is this whole thing where the whole class was like, hey, this person's an asshole. You should leave them alone. Don't mess with them. They're dirty. They're grimy. They're this. And Coinbase was like, no, they're cool. They're cool. I'm gonna hang out with them. They kept hanging out with them, going on dates and everything else. And then when they got slimed out, Coinbase just came back to the class like, you all are right, man. These people suck, man. Can I hang out with y'all? And I'm looking like, nah, you with them. You've been with them. Go over there, back over there with them, Coinbase. Now you want Coinbase is coming out. Oh man, these things we found and we're seeing. We got our legal team to work. Too little, too late. Too little, too late, Coinbase. Too little, too late. But for entertainment purposes, let's see what else they said. Earlier this month, Grewal said the letters added credence to a long-share crypto industry rumor that the Biden administration was trying to cut the crypto industry off from financial services, a policy dubbed Operation Choke Point 2.0. This wasn't just some crypto conspiracy theory. Grewal posted on X on December 6th. The FDIC is still hiding behind way overbroad redactions. The same day, Wall Street Journal reported that Donald Trump's presidential transition team was asking potential banking regulator appointees if, as president, he could eliminate or combine such agencies, including the FDIC. And I hope he puts a slack into the FDIC for this. People, this again is the FDIC. You remember all they're supposed to be doing is saying the bank get robbed or something happened, we got your money. That's all they're supposed to do. Why are they sending redacted paperwork, pages upon pages, about consumer protection to banks when it comes to crypto? Man, I tell you. But we're supposed to follow the laws, right? But we got to follow the laws. Hey, it's one law. That's the law of God. All right, y'all. I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to get y'all to this paradigm. There's only one higher power, one law. It ain't America. All right, like what? French Hill to chair. French Hill to chair House committee. I can't even say it's French Hill to chair House Financial Services Committee in 2025. Pro-crypto Arkansas Representative French Hill has taken leadership of the U.S. House Committee that will be crucial to molding crypto policy in Donald Trump's administration. The story is in the headline, people. Pro-crypto Arkansas Representative French Hill that's a cool name too. I like that name. It sounds like a place. It sounds like a hood. French Hill, motherfucker. I don't know. Has taken leadership of the U.S. House Committee that will be crucial to molding crypto policy in Donald Trump's administration. Wow. This is an amazing people. Hey, shout out to Cointelegraph. This is a great story. Great photo with the sun shining and beaming behind the congressional house. Like, that's what I want to see. Oh man, things are turning around, or so it seems. We'll see if it actually happens. I am humbled that my colleagues have placed their trust in me to lead the House Financial Services Committee as the next chairman, Hill said in December 12th statement. He added that he looked forward to working in tandem with President Trump and Senate Banking Committee Chairman Tim Scott to bring common sense economic policies that will produce a new era of American prosperity. Let's see, like the House Finance Committee, the Senate Banking Committee is another crucial congressional group for crypto and blockchain policy. Hopefully, these will be the people to push back on the Pelosi's and Elizabeth Warrens of the world and all the other old people who are literally here just to protect banks. like only here to protect banks and Wall Street from what I've seen and the status quo. Like hopefully he comes in and shakes this up. I can't wait to see. Shout out to French Hill. Shout out to French Hill. Shout out to French Hill. Let me see some stories. What we got going on here? I said stories. Let me see the chat. Just inform you said altcoins to check out. Okay, we got some new altcoins. Shield those coins. Would have sent that 4 million to Nigerian Prince wallet and told big government I got scammed. I saw a story about this the other day, or yesterday. I think Vice ran a story about some fishermen in like Rhode Island, New Hampshire, or something. He tried to get like a loan or a grant. They told him no, so he said, well, he's going to remove his business, and it would have crashed the fishing industry. So instead of letting him remove his business and move his boats, the government decided to entrap him. The IRS went after him and essentially figure out a way to entrap him, to get him on record saying he wasn't paying certain taxes and this and that other, but make it like this big conspiracy, like he's a big criminal, where in reality, he was threatening to move his business because he wasn't getting a bank loan or whatever, or a government loan. And then the government responded by saying, well, we'll destroy you, your life, and your entire business. And my comments were, it was a few people who were agreeing. They was like, yeah, the government had to show him. I'm like, you have that much hate and envy in your heart that you're upset that a guy who threatens to move his business is being attacked by the government using taxpayer money? That's insane. But that's essentially what's happening here. So I'm kind of glad when I see these stories where it's just like, or I won't say glad. It's interesting when I do see these stories, like the one earlier with the Allgren, whatever the guy's name was, and they're trying to get the $4 million of tax money. Like, what happens if he cashes that out? He sets it on fire on the live stream and then jumps off a building. Like, because that's what I'm talking about. Like, again, the puppets and the sheep of the world thing. And shout out, who was it? I think it was Elon Musk. Shout out to Elon Musk when he took over Twitter and X, because this is the same sentiment. He came out and like F all the advertisers. He's like, you think you're going to threaten me and hold me in place with money? That's what our government does. Like that's when they sanction other countries. We're going to give you trade tariffs. We're going to sanction you. They do it to our own citizens. We're seeing that with taxation. Like, they're playing with the right people, and God don't make mistakes either. That's why God don't give it to the right people either, because I would literally burn all the money and just watch it burn in front of the government, IRS, and then jump off a building after and be like, F y'all, like y'all figure this out. In fact, I'm lying. I wouldn't jump off the building. I would fight to the death. All right. Like, but either way, it won't just be a bend over and you come take it. Like, it's not going down like that. And I hate to see it go down like that with so many other people, because I truly believe it doesn't take that many. It takes 10 or 20 martyrs before everybody starts saying, all right, we might need to look at what's going on here, because it's getting a little bit crazy. You know, it's going to take, I'll be one of them. Okay. I'll be the first one. Believe me, I have no quarrels. This is my third life, and they all have been pretty decent. Mark Cuban educates comedian Jon Stewart on crypto. This story itself made me want to jump off a building. Why? Because Mark Cuban's the same guy who said bananas are better than Bitcoin or something like that. Let me see if I can find it. Bananas are better than Bitcoin, or he said I'd rather have bananas than Bitcoin. I don't know, but we're about to find this saying. And this is what's so frustrating about the market, the money side of it. The professionals coming who are grifting over here, who don't know what they're talking about, but since they have capital, they can essentially take over the entire market, because the market was already taken over by people who didn't want to believe in the technology and who only liked the money. I was literally just talking to somebody about this the other day, about all the different like capital and investments and stuff. But as far as the value of the actual tech, how it isn't aligned. Here it is. Mark Cuban, I could eat bananas, Bitcoin not so much. Let me go ahead and share this tab right now. Should you follow billionaire Mark Cuban and buy Bitcoin? This is from a month or so ago. Let's see. I want to see what this. Oh, what did it say? It had it highlighted on the what you call it. It had it highlighted on the Google. I can't see what it is. He said he could eat bananas, but not Bitcoin. I can't see where they put it in this story. It's too much. And I can't remember how to search this story. But going back right here, you can see it highlighted. I could eat bananas, Bitcoin not so much. He remarked at the time. Cuban confessed that he didn't see the point of buying crypto at all. Here it is. October 4th, 2019. It's crazy that this story ran October 24th of 2024. How many years later? There it is. The billionaire said he would rather have bananas than Bitcoin in a YouTube question and answer with Wired, of all people. Wired, one of the biggest tech publications out there, posted September 27th. I can eat bananas, Bitcoin not so much, Cuban said. In response to being asked why he hates crypto, Cuban compared Bitcoin to baseball cards, comic books, and artwork, none of which have intrinsic value, he said, and there is less you can do with Bitcoin than a baseball card. He also said crypto is so complicated for 99% of the population. Do you put in a device? Do you print it out? How do you keep it from being hacked? Who is it going to host it for you? So again, this is a tech billionaire of all, which is why I always reiterate he isn't like that smart. He had one successful tech idea. He sold it for billions of dollars. And that's like, after that, it's just been more, he's just doing what he's doing now. He grips into other spaces with a lot of money, make more money, and then starts talking like a subject matter expert when the reality is his team who's giving him those talking points in the education. Same with Shaq, by the way. I always hear people talking about Shaq's such a good businessman. And really? I would love to ask Shaq which CRM platform he used to do his business and the whole customer context and what lead generation software he was using. How did he build his pipelines and all this other stuff? That is what a business person does. Shaq had the money and he hired the right people. Like, no, that is not the same thing. No matter how you cut it. Now, is he good at making money? Hell to the yeah. Both him and Mark Cuban are good at that. But are they good at actually the business or the technology and what they're talking about? Hell to the no. This article came out October 4th of 2019. In 2019, Mark Cuban, a billionaire, was saying big bananas are better than Bitcoin. And here you have the government retroactively going after people from 2017. Like, this is why this is a madhouse right now. And you want to make it even a more madder house? Now you have Mark Cuban in 2024, some years later, actually going on huge platforms and educating the world on crypto. Like, it to me, I don't know. I've always been one of those guys. It's okay to say I do not know. I don't know, but I know someone who does know. I'm gonna get you in touch with this person who does know. Let me bring this person who do know on the show. Let them talk, not me. I'm not the person to talk about this. Just 5 years ago, I was saying this shit didn't make no sense. It should be bananas are better than it. I don't know where to keep it. Right? That's when I was telling people when the price was still at a viable price point for the average American to buy an entire Bitcoin. But now that it's out of their reach and the government tapped me on the shoulder, now we're going to go ahead. Hey, now it's time to pump it. Now it's time to pump these derivatives. This is incredible right here. The same person who downed it is now educating the audience. I feel like this is turning to digital currency for dummies, Jon Stewart said to the billionaire during an interview on his weekly podcast. In one of his first interviews since supporting Vice President Kamala Harris in the 2024 United States presidential election, billionaire and cost plus drugs co-founder, I don't even know what that is, so they must be plugging something for him. Mark Cuban appeared on Daily Show part-time host Jon Stewart's podcast to discuss digital assets. In December 12th episode of the weekly show with Jon Stewart, Cuban said he strongly pushed for the Harris campaign to target young men in the 2024 election, in part based on their affinity for crypto and feeling part of a community. What are you talking about? Like, this is what I'm talking about. What is Mark act like he is a Dallas guy. You know, he is a Dallas, Texas person. You've been in Texas, you know exactly what I mean. I wouldn't be surprised if he moved to Austin, to be honest, but he is certainly a Dallas, Texas person. The billionaire said he told Vice President Harris and Securities and Exchange Commission Chair Gary Gensler that the administration's policies on crypto could cost her the election. Oh, okay. So he's just the expert all around. Now look at that. He's advising presidential candidates on crypto. Now look at this guy. He's just he's a blockchain consultant all in one. There's an argument to be made when you look at the numbers. A whole lot of young men voted against Kamala Harris, said Cuban. I think crypto had a lot to do with it. Oh, man. Even if crypto did have a lot to do with it, it was already too late for Kamala Harris because she was a part of the Biden administration who clearly didn't like crypto. So it didn't matter if she came out and said Bitcoin would be legal and I'll give everybody a Satoshi or two. Like, I don't think that would matter. It's already too late. Everyone already saw. So again, this shows like how this guy's out of touch. I know he's getting older. Maybe that's why, but he's definitely getting more and more out of touch to say things like this. Like, yeah, if she would have came around the ninth inning and preached crypto, she would have got more votes. Like, no. So I don't think so. I don't know. What do I know? Maybe he's right, though, because the community as a whole, I mean, when we are talking meme coin mania, are we the most intelligent? I don't know. Cuban put his name forward as a possible replacement for Gensler. Oh, my goodness. He is not serious. Cuban put his name forward as a possible replacement for Gensler in the event Harris was victorious on November 5th. I'm glad I never saw this story. After Donald Trump won the U.S. presidential election, he said he intended to nominate former SEC Commissioner Paul Atkins to chair the regulatory body in 2025. I can't believe this is real. I'm looking at this other story. What? I missed this story September 26th. Was I streaming there? Holy smokes. Mark Cuban says he wants Gary Gensler's job at the head of the SEC. This is what I mean, man. Like, This is what I mean by these people still not part of the gang. Even all this money. It's like, no. Like, no. How about this? Let's take the top 20 of the best candidates in the SEC right now and then put Mark. Like, why would you hire Mark Cuban when, like, the third person down from Gary Gensler probably know how to do the job in their sleep? What are we talking? Like, why is this even an article? What why do you want to do it, Mark Cuban? Like, what? Oh man, this is crazy. I love it though. I love it. This is the madness we're talking about. Mark Cuban not only wants to be the SEC chairman, he wants to consult presidents, and he wants to go on nighttime talk shows to talk crypto, all while ignoring the fact that he said it was worthless a few years ago. This is what I'm talking about. The American government is also doing. It's worthless. It's nothing. It's fake. Oh, you owe me $1 million from 4 or 5 years ago. What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? All right. Last but not least, got to cover this story because it could affect some of you as well. Ledger wallet user reports 10 Bitcoin lost. Community blames phishing. Hardware wallet provider Ledger has linked a recent loss of funds by one of its users to a phishing attack in February of 2022. It looks like the crypto user identified as Anchor Drops on X took to the social networking platform, on December 13th to report personal losses of 10 Bitcoin on their Ledger Nano S wallet. That's all you like. And for the guy who had I forgot he bought the real estate. I was about to say, you're supposed to, man, that thing, I took that on a fishing trip. I dove in. I forgot I had that in my pocket. What are you talking about? In addition to the alleged loss of roughly $1 million in Bitcoin, Anchor Drop said they lost $1.5 million worth of non-fungible tokens stored in the same wallet. The crypto community and Ledger have linked the incident to a phishing hack that occurred a few years ago, but have only surfaced recently. It looks like Ledger points to malicious transactions from years ago. Ledger told Cointelegraph that Anchor Drops seems to have been a victim of phishing and malicious transactions many years ago. The wallet manufacturer referred to an X post by community member K. Dean, who linked the loss to a phishing transaction involving the hacked Ethereum address shared by Anchor Drops. Tag fake_phishing 5443, the alleged phishing transaction. You can see here where Anchor Drops went on X. It was like, hey, I lost my money. It's all y'all fault. And Ledger came back and said, this person signed a phishing transaction many months ago and is now blaming Ledger for his wallet being drained. The Etherscan transaction is below. And again, this is the good thing about Bitcoin, blockchain technology in general, even Ethereum with Etherscan. And this is also why the government actually didn't want it. The banks, while that was important, like they were standing up at Wall Street and the banks and then the status quo, that was like, I would say that was 40% of why they don't want Bitcoin and crypto here. But the other 60%, the majority, is literally for the technology. Why it's worth money? It's the technology, it's transparency. It's the ability for you, me, your 6-year-old kid, your 90-year-old grandmother, and your deployed cousin overseas in the cave somewhere. We all have the ability with this technology to see where every penny, less than a penny, is going. So again, on a grand scale, if you can imagine, if every government worker, or at least every politician, every regulator is paid in Bitcoin, if all their expenses they do with government credit cards and everything else is settled in and used on Bitcoin, even Ethereum with Etherscan, what's going on right now, we can do. When governments say just recently, was the 6th time we did an audit of the Pentagon Department of Defense, we don't know where all the money and things are at. This does not happen with Bitcoin's blockchain or even Ethereum, some of these other crypto. It just doesn't happen because the moment people say, well, I don't know what happened, I don't know where the money is, or all of us in all these different parts of the world are just going to pull up on our phones or laptops, type in the address and be like, well, we see where it went. Like, we literally see where it went. How do you not know where it went? Well, we see where it went. That's the 60% reason why the government, regulators, and politicians do not want this to be widespread, because they begin to get tracked now. They would much rather say, fine, let's keep it on the tech side. Let's do ETFs. Let's do derivatives. Let's do anything else to keep people away from it. That's not just for the banks. That's for them and their own safety, because they are grimy. Unfortunately, they're super grimy. So, but again, this is the cool thing about it. This is what I love about it. This is the tech side of it. And this is how problems can be solved in the future. There's no going back and forth. There wasn't a long argument, right? The guy posted, hey, my Bitcoin, my NFTs are missing. It was Ledger fault, I think. Ledger was going on. Ledger came right back. Here's the address. Here's the Etherscan. We can look at it as the world. and boom, problem solved. No more back and forth that quick. All right. I love it. Other than that, that is the show for the day. Ooh, I went kind of long. I didn't plan on going this long. Let me send some last minute comments before we call it a day. My point exactly. Why would Trump and friends want that? I agree with you. They would not want that part of it, but it won't happen while they're in office. They only have 4 years. That's what I meant by the next administration. I said I wouldn't be surprised if they were the Wild West and we did go high and right and crazy. And then the next administration was like, oh, okay, who sold $150,000 Bitcoin in 2025? And we're gonna be like, well, Trump and them was like, they were like, yeah, he gone. He gone. I don't know what was happening when he was here. So this is what I mean by they're all on the same side anyway. But no, so right now I still think they want it because it wouldn't go into effect. Everything I just said, it still had to build the infrastructure. I mean, come on, we're talking about government building the infrastructure. That's 2-year job easy. Even if we were to start today, unfortunately, it would take 2 years. So he would not be affected by that. If anything, he will want it even more and would actually set this up so that the day he's leaving, we do have this type of transparency, and then it falls on the next administration. That's what he need to do. That would be some big. Hey, Trump and his sons. I know y'all be listening to me. Everybody doing low. I'll be seeing these stories. A lot of quotes I said in there. But seriously, if they are listening to somebody, what they should do is set it up just like that, so the next administration is transparent as hell. Oh man, they would hate him for it. That'd be another thing. Listen, between that and the Federal Reserve, that man might not make it these next 4. They're gonna try to come from every direction. Kevin Cummings said had an issue with Ledger after upgrading the OS. Ledger has issues, not the best. Again, I was talking about that the other day. I can't remember. One of you all were bringing up iCoin wallet, and I was like, well, Ledger, to be real, like they're bigger, but they got some shadiness going on. Again, behind the scenes, I've seen some stuff. There's some shadiness going on there too. So when you all were talking about iCoin, I'm like, iCoin, Ledger, and then I've even heard Trezor has some issues as of recent. I think Ledger and Trezor, their main issues are stemming from they're trying to do too much instead of being a hardware wallet, right? There's not that much money, I think, in just being a hardware wallet because it's a one-time sale. Usually you really only need one unless you can get people to get 2 or 3 and really like, which I encourage to get 2 or 3, get some different kinds so all your portfolio isn't in one wallet. But yeah, after you get the wallet for these companies, they're always looking for ways to grow, make more money, different way. And their thing for doing that was internet connectivity, whether we like it or not. They were saying, hey, first it was just Bitcoin, now it's all coins. Now you can actually swap. Now you can do this and some of these things. Now you can do that, and you can register this. And it's like, whoa, this is turned into a hot wallet. It's supposed to be a cold wallet. You turn this into a hot wallet. I got to do upgrades every couple months. It wasn't like that when it first started. The upgrades were few and far in between. It was a hardware wallet. It wasn't to be connected to the internet. It was zero gap. And now you're seeing more internet connectivity. You say you upgrade your iPhone and all of a sudden it's messing up. It wasn't supposed to work like that. So I think they're becoming a victim, Ledger specific. I think they're becoming a victim of their own success where they are one of the biggest players. They have done a lot, but now they're starting to go back and look at quarterly reports like, well, our numbers aren't moving. It's like, because you've done your job, right? If you want your numbers to move, you start educating the masses and bringing new users. But as far as the users out here, you've done your job. But instead of that, they're like, well, maybe we can tinker and add this swap function to it. Maybe we can add this DeFi thing. Oh, maybe you can buy crypto out the wallet, which means you need the KYC, right? So I think those are all the additional things that make those wallets start to have issues as of recent, last 2 to 3 years, really. I read the X thread. I think he accidentally shared his keys a while ago and doesn't want to admit it. Oh man, listen, I've done it myself, not to share the keys part, but I've done it where I made mistakes, whether it's in crypto or in the tech space or in general. And I am pretty good about, because I take it as a personal thing. I'm pretty good with like, if I'll be tripping. I know I'll be tripping. So it's like, I didn't trip out sometimes. And then it's like, oh man, now I did that. It's like, I've had to come back around and apologize. I have had to come back around, publicly apologize. What we call it? I forgot the one dude who talked about the aliens and space stuff. He's been on a few podcasts and shows. What's his name? Billy Carson. I apologize to him publicly on this thing. He accepted it too because he was talking about crypto one time some years ago. I got him confused with someone else because someone else was down in crypto that had a similar account that does like astrophysics and stars and stuff. And I thought it was him. I was like, oh, hell no. Don't be talking about crypto to your followers now. He was like, bro, what you talking about? That wasn't me. I was like, oh, I had to go back in my timeline. I was like, it wasn't him. But I had to apologize about it. We all make mistakes, man. You just got to apologize and keep moving. But yes, I also think he probably accidentally did it. He got called out. And then it's just like, I'm just going to stop tweeting for a little bit. What do they call it now since it's X? It's not tweeting. What do they call it? Let's say just informing you said no, she lost because she said she wouldn't change a thing about oh, yeah, all right, politics. Mark Cuban's getting that Hellboy jawline for real. I noticed that too. I want to be on something. I don't know. Mark is bull jiving. It's tough to be a fiscal libertarian, crypto enthusiast, and social liberal in these streets. Bitcoin and money happy, worried about women's rights and individual human rights. He said he's got to live your own life at this point. Whistle tone. Wisdom is also knowing how to hire people who know more than you in any particular area. I thought Mark Cuban owned this foolish comment. I haven't seen him own it yet, but no, I do agree with that. I would say that's wisdom and intelligence. I think it's, and that's what I meant by saying he keeps talking about it. It would, to me, show him more of a leader in this space to say, hey, no, I'm not the guy to talk about it, but I am the guy to get you the people who can talk about it. Like for Mark Cuban level, he should be bringing out Andreas Antonopoulos every time he walks on the stage. Like that's what I'm saying. Like he's a bit, bring out Andreas Antonopoulos. I'm not even talking about me or some YouTuber. I'm talking about like, yeah, people who have really developed in this space for a very long time. You got Andreas Antonopoulos. You got oh man, Max Kaiser. Like there's so many people he could bring out. So I agree with you, Whistletone. Wisdom and intelligence, I would say, is knowing how to hire the right people. And I think he's really good at that. That is where I get Mark. And that's why I said Shaq too. They are both really good at that. Where they fall short at is instead of like keeping that same energy, saying, no, I'm hiring the smart people, they cross over just like, okay, now I'm gonna talk about it. It's like, come on now. Price Cobb said eminent domain. Yes, they can make you an offer you can't refuse. That's true. Let's see. Landon DePaul. All right, post chain or die. I've been seeing people talk about it now. Let's see what else we have. Is Maxine Waters still in the finance committee? She's been anti-crypto with all her protecting Americans from gains. You already know it. This is good timing. Then we got a new token. You're right. Anyone made that Billy Carson token yet? Hey, Billy, we need to make that Billy Carson token. Shout out to him. I think that would be a good token actually to have. That would be a fun one. If you're going to do a meme one, that's a good one. All right. Other than that, it looks like that is the show for today. I'm looking at the comments, a lot of repeats. Smash that like and share. I will see you all next week with some more news. Cheers.